Dear students, let us start the discussion on today's newspaper, that is 22nd March 2017. The first article is a brief history of the past 70 years. This article talks about what Congress can learn from its past. Now, in a Westminster model, opposition is as equally important as the government itself. So, if we observe the states in India where the strong opposition existed, these have progressed better than the other states. Example are Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and Himachal Pradesh. But if you see the Indian history, for very few or first few decades, that is almost 3 decades, India functioned as one single party system with the Congress at the helm of affairs. Though a strong foundation was made by Nehru on developmental front, it was not taken forward because of lack of opposition. And the second is Nehru is known for his strong support to democracy and secularism. For Nehru, independence is about fighting on poverty, disease, illiteracy, ignorance, etc. If independence fails to realize these things, there is no value for the independence. It converts colonial autocracy into local autocracy without any change in the lives of the people. And with regard to secularism, the Nehru stand is unopposed. But it was during Indira Gandhi era, it has started changing. The rights of the minorities have been narrowly interpreted as the empowerment of clergy. If you take Rajiv Gandhi era, the situation has got much worse. And the famous Shabano case and judgment, and then the Muslim women law passed by Rajiv Gandhi government to nullify the Shabano judgment. This shows that the government is more concerned about the powerful clergy rather than the common rights of the minorities. So this has dented the image of the Congress and it has moved from secularism to pseudo-secular party. So in this context, walking the line of Nehru, walking the talk you are making, that is a big difference that brings in revival of the Congress. And the second thing is, Congress can also bet on the Nehru, that is P.V. Narasimha Rao and Manmohan Singh era. So the Rao Manmohan model, it has lifted the country out of the financial clutches. If you can take the history of Soviet Russia and its breakdown and financial crisis, we can understand what the work done by Rao and Manmohan Singh, how exemplified that work is. So Congress can build on this for its revival. And again, Nehru's era has promoted and prompted for equality. Nehru has died with much less wealth than what he has inherited. That shows his passion towards equality. So the socialistic drive of Nehru shall be the ideological foundation for India, at least in meeting of its ends. So in the distribution of prosperity. And then what goes around must come around. It is talking about circular economy. A circular economy, it means whatever the goods or whatever the resources we are spending, it shall be reused for. So in this case, United Nations Water Development Program has given a report called Water Development Report. It talks about wastewater as an untapped resource. The sanitation is an important thing from human costs and also economic costs. So it decreases human suffering and disease. And at the same time, for $1 spent on sanitation, we can take back $5.5 in saving of health, productivity of the human beings. And if you take the Singapore as an example, they have a new water, a brand, so which is from recycled water. So all the industrial and agricultural needs have been met from the new water. So this shows that the recycled water can create a great potential for economic activity. So the government shall take a relook on spending the water or reusing the water, as the water crisis is going to be the future because of urbanization and decreasing water resources. And coming to managing Manipur. So BJP was able to form government in Manipur, but the challenges remain. Here the first constitutional question is, the Sarkaria Commission has recommended that whenever there is an hung assembly, first the single largest party has to be called. If not, if there is a pre-poll alliance and which has got the majority, it has to be called for. And then it has to be the post-poll alliance that enjoys the majority. So governor has deviated from this rule and she has called for a post-poll alliance to form the government. But the challenges before this government are, One is the Manipur, the division of districts, creation of new districts by the previous government, the issue is still burning. And Nagas are being opposed to that issue. Though Nagas, United Naga Council has suspended the Manipur blockade, still the issue continues. And second, as per the 91st Amendment Act, as the total strength is around 16, the number of ministers cannot be more than 12. So in this case, all the coalition partners, they want to have the ministerial beds for them. So how the government is going to accommodate is a bigger question over here. So again, government is going to take to the route of panchayat secretaries to accommodate the various aspirants for the ministerial berths in Manipur. But it is bad politics. And coming to growth by merger, we don't get into the merits of the merger. Whenever the market economy faces competition that triples the companies, then obviously the way forward is consolidation. So, Vodafone and Idea merger talks about this consolidation. Now let's come to the OpenEd page. The HQ of isolationism. The Trump's administration, it is talking about protectionism and isolationism. So in this context, the G20 countries shall hold for their ground. They shall hold for a review of globalization as said by Chinese President Xi Jinping. And then let's talk about sports in India. Abhinav Bindre talks about professionalization of the sports bodies. That is the way for regulating the sports. That is way for winning the medals in India. That's what is the final conclusion of this. Now let's get into Human Development Index. Today this is the most important article for me. So Human Development Report 2016 is released. In this, India slipped to 131 among the 188 countries. You all know Human Development Index, it takes the three variables into consideration: life expectancy at birth, and then education and per capita income into consideration. So in this context, why India has been slipped? Though India is in 0.624 in the medium income category, but it has slipped to by 1 point. So in South Asia, if you take about India is in the third position. Among the BRICS countries, India is the last. So there are some important takeaways for India. India's per capita health expenditure is very less. And then the gender disparities over a period of time have increased in India. These two have decreased the India score. Further to this, there are some positives towards India. One is the report clearly stated that the reservation policy has made the jobs more inclusive in India. So previously in the higher civil services, the scheduled castes are only 2%. Now they are increased to 11%. It is due to the reservation. And MG Narega also has got a pat from Human Development Report, and it has clearly stated it is example of combining social protection and employment strategies for the people. And as I always said, diversity has an economic value, including the gender diversity. So the report says that in South Asia, lack of gender diversity in entrepreneurship and labor participation rates has caused an income loss of 19%. So the gender diversity is always important. It has an economic value in itself. Now, let's get into the business page. Center eyes ways to open multi-brand retail. So, as of now, 51% is being allowed in the multi-brand retail. At least the government aims to allow for 100% FDI in multi-brand retail in non-food sector or non-food category. And then the second business page, note ban to cut banks' costs. So initially, before ATMs, the banks used to spend 65 rupees for every transaction. Now, if mobile phone becomes the tool for transactions, it may come down to 2 rupees. And banks are also going to face huge competition from disruption and innovation. And especially the payment banks and small payment banks are going to, small financial banks and payment banks are going to bring in a huge competition in the banking sector. That's what he opines. The next article, the front page, the Supreme Court has recommended that all the parties shall Ayodhya case shall go for out of court settlement. Already Allahabad High Court has given its judgment that the 2.77 acres of the land shall be distributed equally across all the parties. So in this case, the Supreme Court has clearly advised for the parties to go for out of court settlement, and even Chief Justice of India said he is ready for mediation on the issue. Now I have given the notes, I have changed the way the notes has been made. I have first listed the article, context why this has been asked for, and how you shall think on the article. And then I have given the notes and finally the take home points. What you shall remember from this particular article to your examination. What can be the value addition towards your examination? That's how I am preparing the notes. This type of preparation of the notes, it is taking a lot of time for me. So, thank you very much. All the best.